Good afternoon everyone, I'm Gary Martin and today's video has been inspired by a friend actually who said to me, Gaz, what is the best golf club you've ever owned? And it was quite simple. It was an easy question to answer because it's a driver that I had in my bag for over 6 years, and it's a driver I used when I was a teenager. I used to play at Tinsley Park, and I remember, you know, some at times, you know, driving them short par fours, you know, hitting your longest drive as a junior. And I was thinking, does the modern day driver actually go as far? You know, because this is a driver that's not been banned, and you know, obviously some of the drivers in this era were banned, and it used to go a long way. And I picked it up off eBay for £20, believe it or not. It's exactly the same shaft, exactly the same head as I used to have. And I'm going to test it. And I know a lot of people's done these tests before, but I'm convinced. You know, I remember some at par fours used to drive with this, and I don't think now I could get there with the new modern day driver. I don't know if that's me that's aging and getting slower, or whether the drivers have actually come on as much as we think. So I'll not keep you waiting any longer. It's the Callaway Big Bertha 2. Get in the comments, guys, if you used to use one of these. At the time when this came out, this was a monster of a driver, and I carried it in the bag for 6 years. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this today. I'm going to be testing it against my game, which is a PING G425, to see what the results are, to see if it's as long, but mainly to see if it's as straight, because I remember hitting a lot of straight drives with this one. And you know, guys, if you're on a budget, you know, you might be new to golf, or you know, you might even like the more traditional smaller head, this could be a driver for you. We're going to find out. We're going to hit some balls in the net today, and we're also going to get out on the course. So I'm going to start by hitting 3 drives with my G425 driver, and I'm using my favourite ball, the Pro V1. So I'm not going to try and blast these. I'm just going to try and put 3 good swings on them. Try and find that fairway. That felt good. I have had a little bit of a warm-up already as well. And might sound crazy, but having tried that Big Bertha 2 and hit a few balls, it brought back a few swing thoughts. And it sounds crazy, this, doesn't it? But I think I might have been swinging it too much on outside coming down, because with Big Bertha 2, I remember I used to get on inside. You know, I used to really hit it well. So I'm getting that feeling a little bit with this driver now. Just feel a little bit more inside on way down. That one's a bit pulley. Or is it holding on? We'll see when we compare the data. 289. Final one. Be interesting to see what sort of difference we get in the results. Now that is absolutely right down the line. If anything, it's been best £20 I've spent just for that little swing foot. Right, we're going to switch it over on computer. We're going to hit 3 with a Big Bertha 2, and then we're going to get out on the course. If you've not seen a great Big Bertha 2, I'll stick some close-ups in. You know, the face is really deep. You know, it's got, looks like a really big, deep hitting area, but it's a very small, compact head. It's nowhere near as big. I'll put some close-ups in side by side. But at the time when I used to play this driver, you know, it felt massive. So shape of clubs have really developed, haven't they? Let's see what this one feels and flies like. Let me make sure I'm in that zone. Come on, guys, switch on. There we are. It does make you focus a little bit more, because I'm not used to seeing sort of a driver this small. Oh, that felt lovely off face. I'm not going to get a better hit than that today with this club. Distance wise, 275. I mean, without hitting it harder, without blasting it, I'm not going to strike that any better. And I don't want to start blasting it. I don't want to try and force it up to the distance, you know, the ping's going, because it wouldn't be a fair test. And I think that'll reflect, you'll see that when we look at club speed. I mean, obviously I'm not a machine, but I'm feeling as though I'm putting a similar swing on all these. to make it as true a test as possible. And it did fall short, didn't it? Because I don't think I were hitting that any better. Or I can't hit it any better. I'll try and put the same swing on it again. Obviously hit it out the middle, I could tell. It is a sensational feeling when you get out the middle. That one felt a little bit towy. Just a little bit towy. You can see it's just turning over a little bit there. I don't think I've had as much feel with my G425 on a toe shot as I did with this. You know, I could really feel a little bit of twist at the bottom. And I guess that's where like the modern day drivers come on. It's not particularly longer out the middle of the club, it's longer on the misses. And that's why the shape of the drivers changed quite considerably. Because they're now sort of working on trying to get them toe and heel shots straighter and longer. The last one. See if we can get this out the middle. That felt nice. Felt middly. Don't know if I've just closed the face a little bit on that one. So we're going to get out on the course, we're going to find a short par 4, we're going to hit some balls, we're going to have a look at that data to see how both drivers compare, but most importantly, see how they perform out on the course, you know, in real conditions. It's pretty windy up at Huddersfield today, but we're going to see if the old trusty Big Bertha 2 can compete and whether we've got a little bit of a hidden gem for £20. So we're going to start by hitting 3 yellow balls with a PING driver and 3 white balls with a Callaway driver. I'm just going to go and have a look where. Look, I'm going to talk over that data to see whether this could be a little hidden gem and whether anybody out there might be interested in purchasing one. So, like I said, it could be an expensive test if we don't get these online. It's not a hole that I tend to hit driver on very much. By this stage, I'm usually quite happy to make a par. I'd take that in around. It's definitely over the hill, a little bit sort of low, but it's over the hill. Not that one. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing that one again. And that's why I don't tend to hit driver much on this hole. Come on, let's get another one over that hill. That's the best one. Oh, that's shit. Let's see that one again. So it's going to be a fair test. It might be 2 out of 2. One a little bit better. So let's have a look at our ball flight data, starting with ball speed. The G425 is averaging around about 155 miles per hour, and the Callaway Big Bertha is averaging around about 150. So that 5 miles per hour loss in ball speed, when we look at distance here, is equating to around about 12 yards. We've got the G425 total distance around about 286, and then the Callaway Big Bertha round about 274. Now let's have a look at them 4 drives that I hit down 18. You know, what does this look like in real life? Because you'll see, if you look at the cluster here, they are quite close together. These were the 4 shots that I struck really well. And, you know, in real terms, there's not a lot of difference, is there? You know, but the miss-hits, when it came to the miss-hits, the Callaway one would be unfindable. It was over the wall, it was out of bounds. However, the PING one, if I'd have searched right in the rough, I reckon I'd have found that ball, you know, chipped it out and made a par. So maybe that's where, you know, the technology has come on. It's improving them miss-hits and making them bad shots better. So I've come in where it's dry to conclude, and I'm going to start by saying, you know, if we've learned anything today, it's probably that we don't give the manufacturers the credit when it's due, because I feel like technology has moved on under his nose without us even knowing it. You know, we don't always give them that credit. And, you know, when I had it down in the net, the Big Bertha 2, it didn't give me any confidence. You know, it's a very small, compact head. And then out on the course, obviously, I hit that heel shot, and you could, you know, I felt the twist, and the cut were incredible compared to the PING. So there's just not that stability, you know, in the head. It's not as balanced for miss-hit shots. And I think, you know, if I were to try and conclude on how that might help you, you know, if you're a newer golfer, somebody maybe getting back into golf, you know, you're on a bit of a budget, maybe it's not a good idea to try and cut costs on the driver, because I think that's where technology really has moved on in the last few years. And, you know, it would hinder you guys more, because, you know, you'll probably hit the heel and toe more than I do. So, you know, maybe it wouldn't affect a lower handicapper as much getting back into the game, but certainly a newer golfer and a higher handicapper, you know, it's going to affect you guys more. So, you know, I would say try and save costs on maybe wedges and putters, where technology, you know, it has moved on, but has it moved on at the, you know, the pace drivers? I would argue it hasn't, you know. So I'm going to conclude on saying, guys, driver is probably not a club to try and cut costs on, and my favourite club of all time is no longer my favourite club of all time. And you know, in the back of my mind, it really were, and I've had to do that test to prove to myself that, you know, technology has moved on, you know, and it's just moved on under his nose, where, you know, like I said, sometimes we just don't give manufacturers the credit, and we're guilty of thinking, well, you know, it's probably not worth changing his driver because it's only the same as last year. And you know, it's quite clear to see, you know, in 4 years, every 4 years, I would say you can see a difference in performance of woods, and there we are. So if you're using a driver, guys, that's over 4 years old, maybe it's time to start testing some new ones. I hope you've enjoyed that one, and we'll see you in a few days' time. Bye.